In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace the starter on this Dodge Ram 2500 with a 5.7 liter Hemi. It's located on the driver's side of your engine underneath, so let's get started. Let's disconnect the negative battery terminal to cut power to any electronics in the vehicle. For me, this is a 13mm or half-inch mounting nut. For you, it might be different, so I'm going to loosen this up. Once you loosen this up a few turns, you should be able to spin the terminal, pop it right up and off the battery, and I like to tuck it down in here so that it cannot bounce back on and make connection while I'm working. Now with the battery disconnected, we can disconnect the electrical connectors on the starter side. I'm going to remove the trigger or signal wire first, press on this tab, pull the wire off. This will give us a little bit better access to the main power supply wire, which the mounting nut for it is actually right there on the back side, a little bit difficult to see, but we have to pull that off next. With a 13mm socket, remove the mounting nut that holds that main power wire. Take that off, remove the wire. Now with a 15mm socket, remove both of the mounting bolts that hold the starter onto the transmission. There's one. I'm going to leave this one attached, just a few threads. Move the shifter cable out of the way so you can get to the bottom one. All right, that top one is holding the starter in for me. So at this point, I can support the starter, remove the bolt, and remove the starter. And there it is. Grab the new starter and slide it in. Have your bolts ready so that you can at least secure it into place temporarily. Start it on by hand to make sure it starts on smoothly. You don't want to cross-thread these. There we go. That's started. Once you get one in, at least a few threads, you can let go and start the other one. And that's started. Let's snug them up. I tried to go back and forth so that I get seated evenly. 50 foot-pounds is the torque for both of these bolts. I'm going to take a piece of sandpaper, clean up the mounting surface of this power cable so I can make sure I have a good connection. If you need to sand it down to anything rougher than some 400 grit sandpaper, just make sure you're not removing too much material and make sure it's actually going to clean up properly and it doesn't have to be replaced. You're better off replacing it to get a good connection. Pretty good. We're showing some copper here, so I'm going to leave it at that. On the other side, do the same thing. Cool. Now take the wire, slide it over the terminal that's up there, and put the mounting nut back on. Thread it on. This is still a 13mm in size, so we'll have to tighten it up. When tightening this, make sure it's still seated properly. Grab your 13mm. About 1/8 of a turn is all it needs. You don't want to break the stud inside the starter. Now let's install the signal cable. Make sure that clicks. We're ready to reconnect our battery. When you put this on, it might make a spark. Don't be afraid of it. Just hold it on there. Put it all the way down and tighten up your terminal with whatever tool you use to disconnect it. Once it gets snug and bottoms out like this, give it just a little bit extra. That's all you need. If you cannot spin this by hand, you know it's tight enough. If you over tighten this, it'll actually stretch this terminal, and then it's not going to make a good connection over time.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.